So hey there YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Saul here again today, and in today's video I'm going to be reacting to Batman Without a Bat Family is Effing Stupid by M Enterprises. And I think this will be a fun and interesting video. So when it comes to the Bat Family in DC, I think they are vital to the character of Batman. I think they're vital to the character of Batman, and I think they are they are really important to the overall teams of Batman, and they fit within his teams. All right, Batman slash Bruce Wayne. We know his backstory. His tragic backstory. He lost his parents at a young age. He was an orphan at the age of 8. He had Alfred as comfort, but nothing could replace the family that he lost. And so like he he only had it was only him and Alfred. He was like, I would say, alone for many years, but this all changed with like the first Robin, Dick Grayson. Like even in the comics, Dick Grayson's Robin was like introduced in the second issue of Batman, I think, and he was introduced. His character was introduced mainly because Captain America had Bucky Barnes, but also Robin was supposed to show the humanity of Batman, and was during this time Batman still had a gun and was killing people in the comics, and they introduced Robin to show his humanity. So yeah, I think the Bat family is important to Batman as a character, and in like on the big screen, we haven't really seen them adapt the Bat family properly. Like, I guess you could say we see some of the Bat family in the Schumacher films, like Batman Forever and Batman Robin. where, You know, but again, those movies aren't really good. But that's the only time when the Bat family is implemented on the big screen. Um, in the Nolan films and even the DCEU, even though we see Robin's suit in the DCEU, we don't really get any. We don't really see the Bat family. And I think it's a shame because I think the Bat family is an important part of Batman as a character, and I don't get this mentality that Batman needs to always work alone, and the best Batman stories are the ones where he works alone. I don't get that mentality. I think, yeah, Batman can is good when he works alone, but I think he's also really good when he has people that he's working with, like when he has other characters to bounce off of, like not only just the Bat family, but when it comes to other DC characters like Superman, Wonder Woman. I like it when Batman bounces off other characters, and like he's dynamic with other DC characters. I think get really good content when he's bouncing off other characters also. So yeah, I don't get this mentality that Batman needs to work alone. Like even in the Rockstar, no, even in the I mean the Rocksteady games, no, the Arkhamverse games, we barely saw the Bat Family. But what we got with the Bat Family was good, but I wish we got more with the Bat Family in the Arkham games. But yeah, even Rocksteady had this mentality. Best Batman stories are where he works alone. So that's why we saw little of Robin and Nightwing in the games, and I think that's I don't like that mentality. I just don't get that mentality. I think Batman works well with other characters, and he works well when bouncing off other characters. But yeah, so yeah, I think the Bat family is important. It's vital to Batman as a character. It fits in within his teams that, like, Bruce doesn't have to be alone all the time. Sure, the Bat family doesn't replace the family that he lost, but Bruce can find solace in the fact that he doesn't have to carry the weight of the world by himself. He doesn't have to fight. He doesn't have to carry the. He doesn't have to fight crime alone in Gotham. He doesn't have to deal with threats alone. He can find solace in the fact that he has people that are there to support him and fight alongside with him in his crusade. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. But before we get into this video, remember, you know the drill. Subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified of my latest uploads. And yeah, let's jump right into this one. All right.
Believe it or not, Batman is a pretty big family man. It's pretty stupid and a disservice to the character when adaptations neglect this sentiment and
Yeah.
would prefer their Batman to be some crazed loner with no sense of character growth. That's not to say every show or movie going forward should be compelled in incorporating the entirety of the Bat family.
Yeah, like a good start, like in the DCU or the Batman. I hope later on in the Batman universe or the DCU they introduce Dick Grayson's Robin, because I think that's a good starting point.
As one of the current issues with Batman comics is the absurd
Oh yeah,
size of
so
the
I've heard.
family
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. Just like with Spider-Man, there's a absurd number of members in the Bat family. Like there's an absurd member of Spider people in the Marvel comics, from what I heard.
Resulting in select characters getting neglected or glossed over in recent stories. But it's
Yeah.
ludicrous to not even attempt to try and incorporate the character of Robin due to the concept of being seen as too silly or out of place in a live action.
Yeah, I don't get that mentality. Like Robin, yeah, Robin is more light-hearted than Batman. Batman is dark and gritty. Robin is a light-hearted one, but that's what makes that dynamic really great. All right, the contrast between the two. Yeah, and I wish they implemented Robin in the future movies. I just don't get this mentality.
Theatrical Batman movie. I think the consistent depiction of Batman's drive to fight crime alone and his role as a symbol of fear has led to the average fan to believe that he's better off that way. You can't tell me it isn't compelling to look at the story of a man who sought out to fight crime due to the city taking his family away from him at such a young age, only to better help the city with a new form of allies and essentially building a new family of his own.
Yes, man.
Master Bruce, now is not the time for doubt.
I can't do it.
I love this scene. I really do.
I can't stop them.
No, you can't. Not on your own. But it's high time you realize that you are a man, not an island. And a man's strength comes not from just brawn and intelligence, but also from his allies.
And if Arkham Shadow gets a sequel, if we get like a third Arkham Origins type game, I hope it features, Dick Grayson's Robin, because in the post-credit scene of Arkham Shadow, they show what happened to Dick Grayson afterwards in the story, and I hope we get to like maybe like a co-op VR game where you also get to play as Robin, because I really want to see more of Dick Grayson's Robin in the Arkhamverse.
One alert. The Joker has escaped from his cell and is leading the riots at Blackgate. Repeat, the Joker has taken over the entire prison. Multiple casualties, multiple hostages. Again, we have lost Blackgate. Captain Gordon is calling on anyone for assistance.
They need you.
No. They need us.
At the time of recording, it's been almost 28 years since Robin or Dick Grayson has made an appearance in a live-action theatrical movie.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I hate that he was implemented in the Schumacher films. I mean, I don't people hate the Schumacher films. I kind of like them. I kind of like Robin's story in the two films, but I hate the goofiness of it.
3 decades have gone by and not a single director or writer has ever included the dynamic of Batman and Robin in a big blockbuster release.
Embarrassing!
Now sure, Batman has had allies in movies released during that time frame. You've got your universal constants like Alfred and Jim Gordon, but choosing not to expand to other well-known supporting characters who are crime fighters themselves severely limits the storytelling potential for future projects. The most recent indication of Robin's
I always wanted to explore the death of Rome, and if there ever was going to be a next movie, which of course there probably won't be. I want to do a scene where in flashbacks we learn how Robin died, how Joe killed him and burned down Wayne Manor, and that whole scene that happened between he and Bruce.
existence was the statue in Batman vs Superman where Joker and Harley killed Robin, and apparently Joker also burned down Wayne Manor, which is why Bruce Wayne in the movie lives.
So that implies that Joker knows that Bruce was Batman. Like, it's so weird, man. In the Snyderverse.
In a lake house instead of the mansion.
He knows exactly what it's like to lose someone he loves. Like a father. Like an adopted son.
But I'm happy to discuss with you in any way like why you sent a boy wonder
To do a man's job.
One of the key differences in this universe is that the dead Robin wasn't Jason Todd as one might expect.
Oh yeah, it was Dick Grayson. I don't get why Snyder chose Dick Grayson. That's a weird way to go about with the story.
Rather, it was Dick Grayson because his death would have hit harder for Batman.
Both of the deaths would have hit harder. Like if it was Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Tim Drake, all three of those deaths would hit Batman hard because those three are his sons, and he loves them all equally.
Dick Grayson to me is much more
that would
personal.
That would harder for Batman.
Dick Grayson to me is much more
that would
personal.
that would hit Bruce way more. Yeah.
Way harder, yeah.
No, man. All three of the deaths would have hit Bruce hard. All three of them. He loves them. He loves all three of them equally.
That's kind of what it was all. That's what that was all about to me. One of the things I always say is that the thing I think that like a lot of fans need to think about in regard to how different directors approach Batman and/or these sort of extended universes. You have to think about it like it's just a run.
Yeah.
It's just a run.
Like a comic book, like a graphic novel.
Comic book run.
Yeah.
Like if I had done a run of the same story, of Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, it would be way less controversial. You know what I mean? Than because you'd just be like, oh, this comic book writer took this wanted to take this take, and when the run ends, someone else will pick it up and do something else.
Exactly.
So it is what it is.
Do I have to explain why this sucks? It's one thing if you want to create an Elseworlds tale that'll last a couple of movies at most, to do something that alters a known aspect of a character. But that way of thinking shouldn't be applied when you're mapping what was supposed to be an interconnected universe intended to last several years and compete with the MCU. These live-action movies that are a part of established universes are essentially the mainstream versions of these characters to the general.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks, man. I hope the DCU fixes this
audience. This is the first time Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman ever interacted on the big screen. Killing off someone like Dick Grayson destroys so many future stories that could have been told in this lived-in universe.
Yeah, like with Nightwing. Like, we could have gone a Nightwing show or movie.
Means no Teen Titans of any kind, since this version of Batman never had another Robin. The foundation of the Bat family is gone from the start, as Dick Grayson is the embodiment of Batman's greatest success, and one of the greatest legacy characters in comics. His relationship with Barbara Gordon, the father and son dynamic with him and Bruce, Dick teaching Bruce to become a better man with his optimism and keeping Batman level-headed, completely non-existent. There is no Bat family without Dick Grayson.
He asked me about something we used to talk about.
Yeah, he like the original Robin. He is instrumental to Batman as a character. Like, again, introduced in the second issue of Batman comics.
Batman's legacy.
What is this?
Who wears the cowl when Bruce Wayne can't?
Oh, wait.
For years, I thought I had the answer. Every time I looked at Dick Grayson, I saw the next Batman. But Dick never wanted it. I've been monitoring his activities in Bloodhaven. It's amazing what he's accomplished on his own. His way. With courage and kindness. I see it clearly now. I don't want Nightwing to become Batman. I need Batman to be more like Nightwing. Despite everything, I just wish he was home. So we could talk. Really talk. I'd tell him how proud I really am. That Nightwing is the better version of what Batman was meant to be. That because of Dick Grayson, Bruce Wayne became a better man. I'd tell my son that I miss him. I'll tell him the next time he comes back. He doesn't need me bothering him.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
He doesn't need me at all.
And saying Dick Grayson's death would have hit harder to justify Batman's mental state in the DCEU is so funny to me because
it's pretty dumb, right?
basically what Batman would have become after the death of Jason Todd. The whole point of Tim Drake was to demonstrate why Batman...
Tim Drake is also important to Batman's character. See, the origin of Tim Drake is that he found out that Batman was Bruce Wayne, but after Jason Todd died, Batman was becoming more brutal in his crime fighting methods, and he was almost about to go over the edge and start killing. And Tim Drake saw this, and he decided to become Robin. While he first went to Dick Grayson, asked him, Dick said no. Then Tim Drake decided to become Robin because he thinks that Batman needed a Robin in order to keep his humanity in check, and yeah, so that's why Tim Drake became Robin, in order to help Batman with his grief and show him hope, even in the worst of times after Jason Todd died.
Needs a Robin after he became angry and more of a wild card after Jason Todd's death. The darkness within Batman was consuming him, and Tim knew that a Robin by his side would be saving Batman, thus saving Gotham from further turmoil. The Dark Knight Rises integrated a pseudo-Robin-like character.
This guy, the only link this cop has to Robin is that
turmoil. The Dark Knight Rises integrated a pseudo...
his name is just Robin, that's it. Nothing else.
Robin-like character on a technicality with Officer John Blake, to which these movies were so embarrassed on Robin as a concept, the character doesn't even like to use his legal first name.
Try my legal name. You should use your full name. I like that name. Robin.
That ain't me.
He's like this weird amalgamation of Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, mixed in with a little bit of that Chris Nolan sauce. Instead of some young genius who utilized his detective skills to discover that Bruce Wayne and Batman were one and the same, he only figured it out because of a certain look that Bruce had back when Blake was in the orphanage.
Commissioner Gordon thinks...
he doesn't know or care who you are, but we've met before. You gotta learn to hide the anger, practice smiling in the mirror. So you showed up this one day. Pretty girl on your arm. Right when I saw you, I knew who you really were. Seen that look on your face before. It's the same one I taught myself.
The character of Robin has been integral to the Batman mythos since the early days of Batman's publication.
All the way back in Detective Comics
history. The first appearance of Robin only happened a year after Batman's first appearance in 1939.
So it was a year later. Was it like the second issue? Can someone tell me, was it like the second issue with of Batman? Never mind.
Ever sidekick in comics, with Batman and Robin being one of the most iconic duos in all of fiction. Looking people dead in the eyes with a straight face saying you don't want to use Robin in your universe in a major way is insanity. Some people might argue that the addition of the Bat family just hinders Batman as a character and
how? Like, I don't get it. How does that hinder him as a character? It evolves his character. The Bat family allows Batman to evolve as a person. I don't get
having multiple sidekicks is too goofy of a concept, or that the family makes Batman less interesting. Congratulations. You have the same mentality as the Joker. The death of
we have the same mentality as the Joker. Fakes, imposters, phonies.
The family in the New 52, not to be confused with the death in the family, which features the death of Jason Todd, centers around the Joker believing that the Bat family members ruined Batman and started to hunt them down one by one. It was a grand gesture to remind Batman of the love that him and Joker share and how his family doesn't make him stronger, rather makes him weaker. Giving emphasis on the crime fighters, a part of Batman's circle, best conveys the impact Bruce has had as Batman and how people on a global...
it shows the positive effect he has on people. Like, it's not just only that he's a symbol of fear and he strikes fear into the heart of criminals. That's important aspect of Batman. His fear the fear he strikes into criminals. But another important aspect of Batman is hope. He gives hope to the people of Gotham, showing that even in this shitty city filled with crime, there's always going to be hope, and there's always going to be people who are going to fight for what's right. And Batman is a symbol of hope for the people of Gotham. That's what people forget about him. He's a symbol of hope, not just a symbol of fear, but also a symbol of hope. And he inspires others to do good.
scale have been inspired to take on crime head-on due to his actions. Batman Incorporated is a group of vigilantes across the globe who were inspired by Batman, which Grant Morrison manifested in the third act of sorts of his Batman run. And to say Batman having crime-fighting allies or the idea of adaptations leaning more on the fantastical side with his villains or the Bat family would be too goofy is in of itself a goofy opinion to have.
Yeah, like Batman's always fantastical as a character. I don't get what this whole stupid realistic take on Batman. Like come on. Batman is a fantastical character, just like Superman and Spider-Man. I don't get this idea that he needs to always be realistic. It's freaking stupid to me.
In a clear demonstration on how little someone understands Batman.
Batman was best suited in the role of gritty urban crime detective. Just have him up against Santa's? It's not my Batman.
This is a lighter incarnation.
Yeah, I love Batman Brave and the Bold. I like how it's so meta, this show.
No less valid.
Just have him up against Santa's? It's not my Batman.
This is a lighter incarnation, no less valid and true to the character's roots as the tortured Avenger crying out for mommy and daddy.
Over the years, I've seen some common misconceptions of specific Bat family characters or false assumptions on what some of the relationships are amongst the family itself. Among the so-called fans of these characters, I've seen a significant amount of fanon that completely differs from how these characters are depicted and what they represent. For those unaware, fanon is essentially the headcanon that's accepted by a certain demographic of fans. It comes from people being introduced to them through comic panels taken out of context, or taking other people's opinions and interpretations of these heroes at face value rather than reading the source material for themselves. And it's annoying when certain comics or adaptations try to unironically cater to either those people or the fabricated headcanons that aren't representative of how these characters are actually depicted. According to these bozos, Jason Todd is very sexually active, toppled with Bruce being abusive towards him and to others in the Bat.
Wait, what? Okay, Bruce being abusive, like, I don't know, from All-Star Batman, which was written by Frank Miller, Bruce, like, kidnapped Dick Grayson, so yeah, that was abusive, but everyone hates that freaking comic. Like, that's one of Frank Miller's worst works, alongside The Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Family?
All y'all going to hell. What? You right there. Hell. You. Hell. You. Hell. Yeah, I said it. Who are you to tell me where I'm going?
What?
Who am I? No, my son, who are you? You are a sinner.
Show me canonical evidence of this so-called abuse at any point when Jason Todd was Robin and didn't come back as a murdering psychopath. Nah, I'll wait. Sure, let's just completely ignore the fact that Bruce sought out to help these kids after they experienced tragedies by either losing both of their parents or having to commit street crimes just to survive. Batman doesn't bring in these kids for selfish desires.
He brings them in to help them and to show them a better path in life.
Grayson under his wing was in an effort to make sure he didn't go down a vengeful path in hunting down the man who murdered his parents. The whole point was to make him someone who strives to conquer his trauma and inspire others to do good, while also becoming more of a beacon of hope in the field.
If only I could have stopped him. I saw him coming out of the tent.
You keep thinking, if only I'd done something differently. There isn't anything either of us could have done.
Does the hurt ever go away?
I wish I could say yes, but it will get better in time. That I promise.
Oh, Tim Drake is the boring nerd Robin. He's addicted to coffee.
No, like everyone says like he's the best Robin. Like he's incredibly smart. He's like the best detective out of the three Robins, and his motivations is pretty simple but pretty charming. He just wants to do good and help Batman through his grief and to be the best version of Batman.
Coffee. He's not that good of a fighter.
I may or may not have spilled some coffee while taking it out of the box.
Tim!
It's fine. I found an even better one online.
Fine, but lay off the coffee. You're jittery enough as it is.
Is the room vibrating right now?
How much coffee have you had today, Tim?
12.
12?
Hey, caffeine is Robin's superpower.
The disregard for Tim Drake as Robin is so funny to me when he pretty much modernized the Robin character, as he's been Batman's partner the longest out of anybody in the actual mainline canon, at least pre-New 52 anyway. Some of the training he's received throughout the years include tutelage under Tibetan monks, Batman, and Lady Shiva, so the rhetoric that he can't fight is just nonsense. His introduction to the Batman circle helped pave the way for Bruce allowing himself to work with others again after the death of Jason, and proved how vital having a Robin by his side is in keeping Batman in line. Tim's not some footnote character that's only highly intelligent. He's had compelling relationships, family troubles. Tim's willing to challenge others like Batman if need be. Tim as Robin has had strong connections with his version of the Teen Titans alongside Superboy, Cassie Sands' Mark Wonder Girl, and Impulse. So many adaptations of Robin have drawn visual inspiration from Tim Drake's time in the role. And look, I understand from a certain viewpoint that Damian Wayne is like this little...
I heard people really don't like Damian. I also when I watched these DC 52 movies, I never really liked this kid. He freaking I know he's kind of never like clicked with me. He was always so freaking annoying in these movies.
Annoying brat that thinks he's better than anyone else. But are you still gonna hate on the kid even after he's been a mainstay in Batman comics for the past 19 years, especially in modern comics where that bratty, childlike mentality is something he's grown out of? I mean, sure, he's still young. I believe currently he's around 14 to 15 years of age, with him being a high school student. While Damian's transformation into the Robin mantle was done under Dick Grayson's time as Batman, as he grew a brotherly dynamic with Dick, Bruce and Damian's relationship has evolved immensely over the years. Grant Morrison's vision for the character was always to create this really bratty, arrogant child with a bad attitude and turn him into someone worthy of being the son of Batman and living up to that standard. You see him earn his place and become a hero. Don't rely on the Injustice universe and the DC AMU to get...
the Injustice universe. I like the Injustice games, but the story in the Injustice games is kind of ass, alright? Like freaking David accidentally kills Nightwing with his with a rock, I think. I can't remember, but he like accidentally killed Nightwing, and I think that's really made people really hate his character. The fact that he killed Dick Grayson.
Of Damian's place in the Bat family. It's important to give light on the complex relationships within Batman's inner circle, and even more crucial to never let top-tier gooners like Bruce Timm go unchecked. Popularizing the sheer idea of Barbara Gordon and Bruce in a romantic relationship of any kind should be worthy of sending anyone straight to the gulag. Absolutely repulsive to look at. The release of Batman the Killing Joke animated movie was one of the worst things to happen to Batman fans.
Not comparing tragedies, this was our September 11th.
I think incorporating the Bat family in live action is the move for any future adaptation, as that allows the casual moviegoer to see Batman in a whole new light.
And to get them out of the stupid mentality that, Batman works alone, he's better when he works alone. Just implement the Bat family. Like, start with Robin first, and then Batgirl, and then and do it well. Write it well, and people would love it, man.
If done right, there's a good chance that they'll get attached to a whole new cast of characters they might be interested in.
Yes, like people only know Robin from the Schumacher films, and that's bad. I hope the DCU implements Robin and Nightwing. I just really want to see the Bat family done well in the live action scene for once. Well, I think they've been they haven't been done well. They haven't been done well in the live action shows.
You want to see more of Dick Grayson's impact on the DC universe as Nightwing, or learn more about his relationships? You can go check out some Teen Titans stories. It's funny how prominent Batman has become in mainstream media, to the extent of diehard DC fans complaining about too much Batman exposure, yet almost none of the most prominent adaptations feature the most basic Bat family characters like Robin. In current times, there's honestly no excuse for that, and going with the defense that Batman or any other ally is too silly to adapt in a movie is just BS. James Gunn, you know what to do.
I hope. So this was a good video. I have a link to the video in the description below, but I think the Bat family is vital to the character of Batman. It shows that he inspires hope in other people. He inspires others to fight crime and not just allow crime to take over Gotham City. And yeah, it fits in with the themes of Batman. It shows that Bruce doesn't have to be alone all the time. Sure, he lost his family. Nothing can replace his family, but he can find solace in the fact that he has people there to support him and to help him through hard times. So yeah, the Bat family is incredibly important to Batman as a character, and we can't be friends if you don't agree with me on that. But yeah, that's the video for today. You know the drill. Like, press the subscribe button, press the bell icon to get notified of my latest uploads, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, YouTube.